Hey guys, just wanted to start the video for this week, and for this week I'm going to be taking these ones off, which I put them on before Christmas in that really sparkly red, and then I filed them down and filled them in with these ones probably just 2 or 3 days after Christmas, and here they are, almost 4 weeks later. No lifting, still strong. So I'm probably just going to go ahead and file these off because they are lifting here underneath, and that's not something you want to have. So I'm probably just going to go ahead and take them off and then start over again, and I'll be back when that's done. Okay, so we took all those off, and I don't have any more on. And a lot of people say that their nails are really thin when they take them off, but I mean, if you look at mine, they're perfectly fine. Nice, stable. I don't have any issues. So if you take care of your nails and treat them right, you don't have to have brittle, thin nails when you take them off. Anyway, this is the design that I went with. And it's an ombre design, and we're going to go ahead and work this one up. The things I'm going to be using today is the Nate Miss Beauty's UV nail polish. This one's in pearly black. The Safari, this is a top coat. It's completely empty because I used it, but I have 15 more, so I'll get another one. Sally Hensen's, and this one is Posh Plum. It's one of my favorite colors that she has. Safari Quicksilver. This is 01M, which means it's a metallic silver. My usual nailing UV top coat. I did this one in white because I didn't want the pink to upset the color, so I used my Nate Miss Beauty in white to actually do the nail. This is the UV glow-in-the-dark stuff that I got from Ollie, which was a disappointment, but if you have me on Facebook, you know why. So I will not be putting a link to this in there because I have no faith in that seller. If I can find one from a different seller, then I'll put a link up, but I'm not going to put a link to theirs. This is my brush. I've had it forever. I believe it's a size 8. I love this brush. I have dozens and dozens of them that I use on a regular basis, and I use them all, but this one I use the most. I just love it. And I got this one from Beauty Concurrent, I think it was. I paid $5 for it. It comes with a cap, but I never use the cap because that's bad for your brush. The fluid that I'm going to be using today, I forgot, is from Nailways. This one has no label on it, and because it doesn't have a label on it, they only charge $4.50 a bottle. If you get the one with a label on it, then it's $9.50. So there's a big difference. It's the exact same thing. It's the Violet Plus, so it has the primer in it, and it's quick drying, which I love. It also doesn't really have a really strong smell. So I will put the link to this one in there too because I absolutely love this. And then for the crafting, I'm going to go ahead and use my butterflies. And I'm only going to do this one, and then I'll show you how I did the paint for all the other ones. Because I have so many lessons for school, and I have to go to school in like a week, and they make me take these off. I'm not allowed to have any fake nails on, so once I get that all completed, we're going to see what we want to do with the accent nail. I'm not entirely sure what I want to do with it yet, but we'll see as we go. I'm going to go ahead and do the prep for this and put the thing on, and then I'll be back. Okay, so I've done the prep, but I didn't put the butterfly on yet because I wanted to show you this butterfly. I'm going to do a little differently than normal. We're still going to push the two front pieces together there, and you're still going to fit it under the nail. Now if it doesn't fit, you're going to do the trim thing, but it fits my seed curve pretty good, so I don't have to worry about it. What we're going to do with it this time, if you can see, instead of running it straight on, we're going to run it at a bit of an angle, like that, so that this curves down. Oops. Awkward to do it this angle. There. That's basically how we want it. See it a little curved. And I'm going to close this a bit because I really want it to be pointy. And you see that curve there? It doesn't come straight out, it curves down. And that's what we want for these. Okay. This is very awkward. I don't have my good tripod, so I'm just kind of going with it here. And it really is awkward because I have to do it sideways. I'm going to do the best I can to try and make it so that you guys can see this. I'm tilting my finger down, and in doing that, the acrylic is actually walking its own way down the nail. I don't really have to help it that much until it starts getting there. But it is a fast drying, so you have to make sure that you deal with that issue. And you can't see what I'm doing at all. Because it's fast drying and it's cold, I'm probably going to have to deal with some issues. Okay. Now, yay, I got a pinching tool. I'm gonna go ahead, put that on that C curve right there. Let that sit for a minute. Okay, so now we have it pinched and it's dry. So what we're gonna do is take this off, and I always break it from the back just to make it easier, and I cannot stress enough, make sure the nail is free from the form, go down the sides, grab it from the front and pull straight down. You do not want to ever damage yours or your client's hyponychium, which is that piece underneath here that holds your nail to your finger. If you've ever poked it with a nail file or something, you know how much that hurts. Yeah, you don't want to do that. Okay, I'm just going to take my nail file here, and this is an actual acrylic file. Don't ever use this on a natural nail. Okay, this thing takes a lot of product off, so now I'm going to switch over to my regular boomerangs. And I'm going to keep looking at the top, because I don't want it to be too wide here, because if it's too wide here, then it looks wrong. So you file straight out, but the way you get rid of this is to take this file, and instead of filing like this, you turn it like this and you file, and you see how that whole thing, the whole thickness right there, just disappeared. Do it like this. No, I'm running this file just along my cuticle, but I've taken this file, and if you take them and rub them like this on the end, then it has a soft edge right here, so that you can actually do this and it doesn't hurt. Okay, so now I'm going to take a different file that I usually don't use, but I'm going to use it this time because we're painting it. And this is just a buffer block. It has 4 different kinds of files on it. It basically starts with the 180. Make sure that everything is clear. Then you move to step 2, which smooths out the ridges. And then 3 actually buffs it. A hyperextended finger here. And number 5 I think is 25,000. And it actually gives it a little good buff here. If you like the white, you could stop here, and that's shiny and pretty, and you could just decorate it that way yourself. But that's not what we're doing. So let me take my alcohol and my wipes. Now this is just 70% alcohol, and I'm just cleaning that off. And you see, that's quite pretty just the way it is. Another trick you can do, I don't really feel like doing right now, but if you really want to get it smooth and you don't want to be hassled with buffing it, you can put a little bit of acetone on this and you can wipe it down, and it will take off any of those uneven surfaces and stuff, and it will make it really smooth. So that's a handy trick to always know. I'm just going to close up this because I'm not going to use it right now. Okay, so this one and this one, and I'm going to use just a makeup sponge. This is any old regular makeup sponge. I think I got these at the Atos, and it's just a little sponge for sponging on makeup. They're great. I love them. Before I do this, I'm gonna put a safari top coat on. And the reason I'm doing this is because if something goes wrong with the design and I need to take it off, with the safari top coat I can use acetone over this without hurting the nail. So I'm not going to use a gel lock over it. I'm just going to put this little one over it and let it dry. Okay, I realize this is an accent nail, but I'm going to paint it exactly the same way I painted the others, because I like to be different. So you see that? Now I'm going to try not to make a disaster out of this, but I usually do, so. Because I generally try not to make a mess. If you try not to make a mess, it generally works better. Alright, what I'm going to do now is, because the silver is wet, I'm going to use my regular acrylic brush, slightly wet, and I'm going to dip it in this powder, this sun powder. Not a whole lot, but some. And then I'm just going to brush it on over the silver. Of our ombre colors. And because they come out really sporadic, it actually is good with the glow in the dark. This is also a top coat that I made. It was just a regular holographic, and this one is silver. Is that the right one? Yeah, that's the right one. This one is like a purplish silver color. And when it dried up, which they do, I added some top coat to it. So I made it a holographic top coat. So I'm just going to top coat this with that hollow. And wait for that to dry. And the reason that I top coated that is because I'm going to take this black gel polish, this one, on a little brush, and just around the edges here. I'm gonna give that red, wipe that off, a little bit more depth. Just like with regular art, adding a little bit of shadow gives it a little bit of depth. So we're not actually making it black, we're just see, all better. Okay, so there's a flash cure, and now I'm going to go ahead and give it a regular UV gel top coat. I'm going to clean this up and put it in a lamp, add some bling, and when I'm done, I will be back with the results.